It looks like we have a major update on Freddie Prinze Jr.'s brand new wrestling company, something that has been rumored for a very long time, could be coming to fruition, as Freddie has provided a big update on the future of this company. When is it happening? When could we see it? Who has he talked to? All that much more coming up right here in this video. We are also gonna talk about WWE 2K25. PW Insider just dropped a big report about the future of that video game. Find out what's going on right here. Be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. All right, let's get right into it. So, former WWE head writer and really awesome, dope actor Freddie Prinze Jr. has obviously been a fan of professional wrestling for a long time. As I mentioned earlier, he used to actually write creative for WWE. He has a podcast called Wrestling with Freddie. I highly recommend y'all check it out. But in that podcast, he has mentioned on and off that he has been looking into potentially starting his own wrestling company. Freddie has a lot of contacts in LA. He has a lot of contacts in the acting world, in show business, entertainment. And he has said that, he's had conversations with people about this company. And at one point, we all thought that, it was probably going to be a thing. Well, we now have an update courtesy of Freddie Prinze Jr. and his podcast, Wrestling with Freddie. Here is what he had to say. Quote, "We went to Warner Discovery, which was like the worst meeting that I had out of all of them. They basically just wanted me to do a reality show by the end of the pitch and knew nothing about wrestling and didn't seem to care for wrestling at all. So it was not a good meeting. I must have failed at some point in the pitch because they were not interested in what I was saying. I gave the same pitch to everyone else, and it was the only pitch that didn't work. I also pitched to, what was it? Vice. Yeah, Vice TV. And they wanted the show bad, but they were going under some business restructuring, trying to basically stay on the air, and they couldn't afford the show at the end of the day. That was a place I really wanted to go because they have Dark Side of the Ring, and I thought we could be a cool pairing with them. So I was disappointed there. I am doing my damnedest to make this work. I am doing my damnedest to make my dream come true. I have not accepted a closed door as much as they hurt. I keep finding other ones, or they find me, one way or the other, but you have to be ready when the opportunity comes." So, interesting stuff there from Freddie Prinze Jr. It seems like the idea of him starting a wrestling company is farther away than he had alluded to earlier, but it also seems like it is a good thing that he is getting meetings. And for a while, it was actually in the business not difficult, but it was hard to sell a lot of executives on professional wrestling as a serious product, as a serious entity. But now in the cable model that we live in now with streaming and the way that watching television has changed, right now on the air, outside of the biggest upon biggest shows that you can imagine, like House of the Dragon or whatnot that are on cable, there's not much else on TV that is drawing as much as live sports, live news, and in that vein, professional wrestling. Those are the things that keep viewers tuned in weekly, nightly basis. That is what people are coming back for, and that's what has largely kept cable alive. And I think that's kind of part of this model. That's part of why you're seeing people, why you're seeing companies like Warner Brothers Discovery, who we'll talk about, because that quote from Freddie was really interesting to me. But it's why a company like Warner Brothers Discovery was willing to give AEW a $1 billion contract, or a nearly $1 billion contract for the wrestling entertainment entities. It's because it draws, and it's why WWE has a couple of $1 billion contracts out there right now, and they are changing the world when it comes to streaming and whatnot. So it's a completely different landscape, and that's why I think you're seeing so much interest. Vice would have been, and I agree with Freddie there, Vice would have been a great place to have pro wrestling on. I know personally, like from people that I know who have worked at Vice or whatnot, and just monitoring that whole situation, I don't think starting a wrestling company or funding that is going to be viable for them for a while. They are restructuring is like basically the cute way of saying they have gutted entire departments. They have completely changed the way that they are producing their content. It's a different era for Vice. Like the whole Shane Smith era of like journalism and things like that, that's cooked. It's gone. It's a very different animal than it was just a couple of years ago. And like part of that is the revenue change. And, a lot of these news sites aren't drawing as much money as they used to and aren't drawing as much interest as they used to. And that's why you see all this restructuring happening. And, to this day, though, one of their top shows and their highest performing shows is still Dark Side of the Ring. So I would say if the money was available for Vice, I think they actually would invest it in wrestling because that is a product that has actually benefited them in the past, and it remains one of their top entities. And it's allowed them to spin off and do like Dark Side of Football, Dark Side of the 90s, Dark Side of Comedy, all these different things. So really interesting to see that didn't work out. Last thing we got to talk about is that quote at the top from Freddie about Warner Brothers Discovery. It is really interesting to me, and I'm curious to see when that meeting happened. I don't think we have an illusion as to when that meeting happened, but if it happened like before AEW, which I don't think it did, because Freddie's only been doing the podcast for a couple of years. He's only been, as far as we know, having these conversations for the last few years, assuming that AEW was around. And it's interesting to me that a company that just spent a pretty penny, you can say what it is, what you want about it, but hundreds of millions of dollars is a pretty penny, especially for a company like Warner Brothers Discovery that is having the decrease in cable ratings that they are across the board, not just AEW, but they spent a pretty penny on AEW. So if it's like a thing where it was never a serious conversation and like maybe they did it as like a favor to someone that Freddie knew or whatever, maybe that's what happened. That's reckless speculation on my part. So that is what it is. But it baffles me that Warner Brothers Discovery would not be interested after professional wrestling has proven to be one of their top performing programs on a weekly basis. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But if someone did, then maybe it's not the people who've been in charge of AEW the past couple of years, but or working at least with AEW the past couple of years. But we'll see what happens there, guys. Obviously, professional wrestling, we need more companies. I think the big thing to remember here is like in this era of like AEW, WWE taking up so much airspace, it is hard to get another major wrestling company in there to be a real competitor. And I don't think one is going to be for a while. I hope that changes. I hope that you see like, a TNA grow and to be like a real third alternative. And when I say real, I don't mean just existing, right? GCW exists and they do good business. TNA exists and they do good business now. MLW exists and they're doing good business. But it is beyond doing good business. It is legitimately being like, taking that market share, right? A legitimate piece of that market share from a business standpoint. AEW has managed to do that from WWE. That has happened. And it's not a large market share. Our WWE is still like monopolizing basically most of wrestling, but the monopoly has been as small as it's been in over 20 years. So, but when you have that and WWE being like, all right, we are not going to allow a single shred more of the pie to be split between anyone else, and AEW doing the same exact thing, making sure they protect the space that they have as a challenger brand in North American professional wrestling, it's just hard for other companies to break through. And that's going to be the challenge for Freddie. It's going to be the challenge for Conrad. It's going to be the challenge for anyone who tries to start a new wrestling company. But one challenge that I can help you guys out with today is saving $20 off your next ticket by using the promo code REALTAKE at checkout when you sign up for SeatGeek. Let me talk to you. SeatGeek, one of the best sports ticketing apps out there, rates your tickets from a 0 to 10 scale so you know precisely the kind of deal that you are getting, whether you're going to Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, TNA, ECW. Well, maybe not ECW, unless you're going to an NXT show that happened to be in the ECW arena. But if you're going to AEW, wherever you're going, SeatGeek has got you covered. And so do I. All you got to do, click the link in the description below. It allows you to download the SeatGeek app. You use the promo code REALTAKE, and off your first purchase, you get $20 off. $20 whole off. If you're going to AEW Full Gear, that $20 can basically save you 1/3 of your ticket price to sit in like the lower bowl. If you want to sit in the sections of the lower section, you could do that. Go do that. Check it out. YouTube.com. Well, YouTube.com/RealTakes Wrestling. But go to SeatGeek, download the app, use the promo code REALTAKE. As we move on and talk about our next and final topic, let's get into WWE 2K25. If Brian and Kenny can do it, so can I. Let's talk about the video game that all you gamers out there are waiting for, WWE 2K25. After WWE 2K24 had been heralded as one of, I think, WWE's better games recently, at least. I believe there's like an 80% approval ratings right around there from critics and fans. So that was great to see. But it looks like 2K25 is on the horizon, according to PW Insider, who says, quote, work is well underway on WWE 2K25, including motion capture work. That is a major update. The video game has long been expected to be released around the time of WrestleMania 41. So you would think that the motion capture, all of the development is well underway. And one of the big things, people are asking about, people are clamoring for is, are we going to see some sort of change in the 2K25 model? Because I think there's a lot of things that people have definitely wanted to change from 2K24. I think universe mode is something that I've heard a lot of people talk about. I know that people want a little bit more of an immersive experience in the story modes as well. Someone like me, I took a look at 2K24 and I was like, first thing I was like, give me a Road to WrestleMania mode, like a short-term storytelling thing that allows me to really immerse myself in that experience. That was one of the things of the SmackDown vs. Raw video games that I really liked. But 2K25 is on the horizon, and it looks like it is going to be happening. So for all you 2K deniers out there you go. But just wanted to provide that update, guys. Let me know in the comment section, what do you want to see changed about WWE 2K25 compared to previous editions of the game? What do you want to see scrapped? What do you want to see added? I want to hear from you in the chat, in the comments. I also want to hear from you about Freddie Prinze Jr. What's your reaction to what he had to say about his new wrestling company? Will it be a thing? Will it not? Are we all just blowing smoke up our own behinds? Let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.